guys, this is a video I did, a live stream really, about making configurations using ChatGPT. I went for a number of different scenarios, making full configs, some BGP and some other bits and pieces just to see how it would tackle it. Some were okay, some failed dramatically, but yeah, it's quite an interesting take. So check it out, see what you think, and then leave any comments or thoughts, ideas you've got below for you. But yeah, basically what I want to do today is just I thought it'd be quite interesting to run through seeing what AI can do really from a very basic point. AI is very much a big buzzword at the moment. I went to the Cisco Live conference in Melbourne end of last year, and it was really hard to get into a seminar or a talk that wasn't AI driven. And then I had sort of an hour or two in the morning to kill. I hadn't got anything lined up, and I quickly found one through looking through the program of seminars, and then quickly got into one that had already started. And as I sat down, it didn't mention AI in the title, but it was basically about how they have this new product which will basically completely build your SR MPLS network from scratch. So yeah, it was another I'm not needed as a network engineer, but yeah, no, I don't use AI very often. I use it for I like to see what it can do. Got a mild interest from it, being a technical person, but yeah, I just thought wonder if it can build a config from scratch. Where's it gonna falter? Can you manipulate it enough to get what you want out of it? So yeah, this there's no real structure to this. I've got a few ideas I want to try. Basically, I'm connected. The machine I'm on now, we're connected directly to a HAP AX. I've got a separate NIC into this network, into this machine that will be demoing from, because obviously I've just killed my network by resetting it to default. So the first things first, I'm going to try and see if I can build a full config from scratch for like a home router almost. See if we can do the Wi-Fi setup as well. And then I've got 2 CHRs as well once I get some network access back, which are joined together, which I've got ready for a video I'm going to make shortly about the difference between IBGP and EBGP. So that's pretty much set up without any of the BGP config on it. So we'll probably see if we can get some BGP set up via ChatGPT. And then maybe we'll see if we can do any sort of load balance failover, maybe traffic shaping, that sort of thing. So we'll see how we get. We may falter at the first hurdle. So well, let's get going. So just signed up for ChatGPT. This is still the free version, so there's only so many times you can use it for it makes you wait, so I'm not paying for it. So it's just if we do come across that, I'll perhaps just maybe sign up on another account, and then yeah, we'll see where we get to. So let's just jump on our HAP actually and get that ready. So like I said, I've just reset that to factory. Just give it a password. My interfaces I've got connected. I've got Ether 1 is connected to my dev network, so that'll get its internet access. And Ether 2 is what I'm connected to on this machine. So we can tell it that, can't we? So let's get it to. So start by going write me a config for a MikroTik HAP AX2, include, so we want it to do include I don't want to give it too much information, but let's call it include a bridge for the LAN with ports 2 to 5 and use port 1 as the internet/WAN link. the internet will get an IP via DHCP. I'm going to keep it as fairly broad, sort of information that someone may give you, and you'd have to then decipher and make into a, work it out into a reasonable network or configuration. Use 192.168.0.1/24 for the LAN bridge, and a DHCP server using scope 192.168.0.10 to 192.168.0. Let's just go 20, keep it small, and DNS as the MikroTik. So I'll just put a few little things in here which I would think would be gotchas. So that's the LAN, the WAN. Create a NAT rule for outbound internet traffic. Create a firewall filter for, give it some help for blocking external internet access. See what it comes up with there. What else do we want it to do? Let's try the Wi-Fi. Configure the Wi-Fi to use SSID. Call it MikroTik masters. We'll just keep it the same for both, and set 2.4 gigahertz on channel, let's go 11, and 5 gigahertz on channel 48. Why not? Both 20 megahertz. What else? Include Wi-Fi in bridge, LAN bridge. Okay. Right, this could go one or two ways. Much quicker. So starting, it wants to just do reset a config. Makes sense. Create a LAN bridge. Put those interfaces in it. Gives an IP address. Creates the pool, which is our scope. DHCP server, good. Network, good. Setting the MikroTik as the DNS server. Set the WAN to get an IP from DHCP. Yep. Masquerading out of Ether1, good. Input chain, so it's dropping anything that comes into Ether1, which is I didn't give it enough information to say, if to allow local stuff, but that, provided we never connect to Ether1, that should be fine. Locates WLAN1. So this is where it's, see that wave 2. I didn't give it the firmware that I'm on. I might know that I'm using the Wi-Fi menu. This was when they brought AX out and they migrated prior to bringing out this menu setup. So let's just say, what are we on? 17.17. Make it for firmware version 17.17.2. see where we get to now. Use Wi-Fi instead of older wireless package. It still hasn't. Oh look, was that mine? That was me, wasn't it? 7.17, not 17.7. Can I send that? With Wi-Fi Wave 2. Okay, so it's probably kept all this the same. So configure the WAN, use peer DNS, use peer NTP, yes. I just added those in, I didn't ask it. Didn't have that in before, did it? There we go, Wi-Fi Wave 2. I'm still saying Wi-Fi Wave 2. That's not going to work. And plus WLAN 1 in the newer AX models is actually the 5 gigahertz. And it's called Wi-Fi 1. So it still hasn't got that. But yeah, this would probably work in the... Well, it's worked out as AX. Oh, I didn't tell her password, did I? Yeah, this would have worked in the older versions if I downgraded it to say 17 pre-12, I think. Okay, we can probably forgive that for now. Interface bridge, just putting those into the bridge. Did it not do that up here? I'll split that out now. Enable Wi-Fi interfaces. Okay, instead of legacy wireless, it's actually now Wi-Fi, but I'll show you that. So if we open up our terminal, it's got to change the password when I logged in. Nope. So we do interface. See why it's just Wi-Fi now, and it's also done in these different menus now. So you create basically your individual menus and then tie them together in this configuration profile, which you then apply to your. I mean, you can still do it in the interfaces themselves, but it's still done differently to how that's telling us. Okay, well, let's just apply the rest. So we'll skip the Wi-Fi bit for now. So external, what's that? It's blocking everything for me for 1. So that does mean that if I was to connect onto it via my dev network, I wouldn't be allowed. So it's dropping everything coming in. But again, to be fair, I didn't actually specify that. Actually, I don't want to reset the config because I've already done that. Okay, copy. Let's see what that does. In fact, I'll put it into a notepad as well just to remove any random formatting. Okay. Let's make that there, that there. We got the terminal. Oh, tell you what, I'm going to log out and log back in because that can get annoying. Cool. Right. So we'll do it one at a time. In fact, no. So let's give it the big bang approach. Any errors? No. See if we get an IP address from it. Disable that. Enable. Yep, got an IP address, but I'm fairly confident something's not going to work because I don't remember seeing it change that. I'll show you what I mean. Let's just take my default gateway off now. So you're out via this way. Ping. So we should be able to ping the internet. Can we resolve DNS? Could not find host. because I asked it to use the MikroTik as the DNS server, but unless we enable this option here, it won't answer any requests made to it. So apply that. Let's do an NS lookup. Google.com. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's not pinging. Interesting, it's using. Oh, that's what status. Let's just flush DNS. I think it's because I've got DNS set on the other interface. Needs elevation. How weird. Let's just kill that DNS on this side. Okay, it's now my request. Something else I think it's not going to be working. So my firewall, all I got it to make is dropping everything, but literally everything that's coming into the input chain. What that means is if I'm using it for DNS. So for example, if I do NS lookup to google.com and I specify my public DNS server, that works. But if I can't do it, because I bet you this can't do it. So this is something I covered off in a video I did about firewalling, particularly focusing. What am I doing? Pinging myself. Focusing on protecting yourself from the outside world. One of those is so it can't resolve the DNS. So it's sending the request out to do that DNS. In fact, I'll show you that firsthand as well. The neat little, if you ever troubleshooting stuff, just in your rule here, you can just log it, and we'll just call that drop. And we load up our log. Oh, there's heaps of stuff going out that's getting dropped. So let's freeze that. So look at that. So, that's the IP. On that IP, that's the established one. There we go. So there's my DNS request going out to 1.1.1. Sorry, it's coming back. Sorry, from that to that interface. So what that means, what's happened there? Weird. So basically what it's doing is it's making a request out from itself, but the response is coming back and it's dropping it because it's destined for the input chain, and we're basically saying just drop anything regardless. So normally what you can do is where our firewall's gone, we would stick a rule above that to say allow DNS. But then what about NTP? What about all the other services we may have running? So what we just then do is connection state established, and then they want to negate that. So basically it's going to drop anything destined for the input chain except for established traffic. So if it's already got a session going out, it will allow that coming back in again. So if we apply that, we should be able to ping Google now. There we go. And then again over here, there we go. And you see it's making the lookup against the. Okay, so there's two things there which wouldn't have worked straight away. I could have, knowing that, I would have obviously specified that. But if I know that, why would I be using ChatGPT to write my config file? So the Wi-Fi stuff, I don't know if it's going to work. You can try and just change those interface names. Just give it a whirl. So it's Wi-Fi now. I'm going to find Wi-Fi. Oh no, I know this is going to be wrong, so we'll swap it around. Because we've already established it's not going to work. Wi-Fi 1. Wi-Fi 2. I'm going to enable them as well. A good rule of thumb is to actually, not rule of thumb, sorry, but a good something that I like to do, makes it a bit easier, is you actually can rename these interfaces. So I would call that 5G or something to specify that it's the 5 gigahertz one, just for rather than remembering that one is 5. So I wonder if this will work. Give it a go. No. So the security.passphrase doesn't exist. Channel.width. That's all. Has it done anything? Which one are we doing? One, aren't we? No, it hasn't done anything at all. Okay. Well, we can say the Wi-Fi is a failure. And we can say that the actual internet access firewall/DNS was a bit of a failure, but the rest of it was okay. So if I was going to rate it, I guess we'd give it a 6 out of 10. See, put your thoughts in the comments below. Obviously, I'm quietly confident. I mean, I'm happy it didn't work necessarily. Interested that it's done the rest of it though. That's pretty good. But you could certainly, if I gave it better instructions, maybe I could actually specify saying, I mean, I gave it the firmware version. I don't know what more it would need. But yeah, maybe say about, so this is the config, and I could have specified that the WAN is to block everything but established traffic. That would have fixed that. But yeah, even just to be honest, just creating your, that can be time consuming. Creating your bridge each time. Just get it to create your bridge and name it, and give it your naming conventions, and let it do that. Yeah, if you've got, I used to work for an ISP where we would use these smaller, the older HAPs as they were then, for client, small client end devices, or basically CPEs if they were just buying a direct connection from us. Again, instead of having to configure them individually, I had a sort of a script that I used to run, which you'd give it the key bits of information like the client name and stuff like that, and it would generate a password for the Wi-Fi, and it would give that SSID of the client's name and stuff like that, just so you could literally put that information in, put the WAN IP addresses in and all the rest of it, VLAN tag if we were using that, and then it would spit out the config, copy and paste it in, put it back in the box, and away you go, send it out to the client. So okay, so what should we do next? Let's try, see if we can load balance, shall we? So yeah, let's jump on my other two. So as I mentioned, I've got, actually firstly, let's try that BGP. I'm interested to see what it does with the BGP, because for the video that I'm working on, or going to be making, I'm trying to do the difference between, showing the difference between iBGP and eBGP. Now, sorry, I struggle to do two things at once. as is the stereotype. Yeah, and I've struggled with for a while that I wanted to set up IBGP, and basically sneak preview showing you the difference between the having to do full mesh or using the route reflector, and getting that route reflector to work. I just could not get it to work at all. And then I found that I was on the latest version of firmware 7.17, and the route reflector client thing is missing, and I've yet to find out why, or if there's a different way of doing it. So I've downgraded to 7.15 so it works. So I'm just interested to see what config it gives me. If so, I've cleared these from the setup. I got it all working earlier, but yeah, on these, one of these has two interfaces. What I've called WAN and internet. I mean, the WAN is how these two are connected together. So you see they're in the same subnet, but I do also have WAN internet access off this network as well. So what I can do is use these two if I wanted to for a failover testing or load balancing maybe, but we'll see how we get on with this bit. And then I just have a Windows machine connected to this network, and I have a Linux server, Ubuntu server connected to this one, and this one has the internet gateway. I don't actually have a gateway on this one, but we can add one. So I'm showing you the routing table. I'm not showing you the routing table here. Oh, I do have a gateway. Okay, apologies. Yeah, so I'm interested to see if I can set up BGP between the two. So let's give it a whirl. Okay, give me a full config for IBGP between two CHRs. Who specifies MikroTik? Let's just be safe. CHRs on version 7.15.3, I think I'm on. Router 1 is 10.20.21.31 for its router ID and BGP peering neighborship. Local IP, and router 2 is 10.200.21.32. Make router 1 a route reflector, although we've only got 2 in this scenario, it doesn't really matter, just still interested. And router to a RR client. You may be thinking I've jumped from a basic home setup configuration to straight into BGP, but yeah, I want to be a bit challenging with it. The first setup was fairly simple, so yeah, some people may be attempting to use this to save themselves actually learning how to do it. I don't know, but whether this disproves that or not. What else should we tell it? Let's be a bit tricky and say advertise only subnets on ether 2 of each CHR. See if it can work that out. Oh, hang on, we haven't told them what they are, have we? Okay, so advertise only 172.16.1.024 on router 1 and 192.168.20.0/24 on router 2. use AS number 6530, which I think is already set to at the moment. See what that does. So again, resetting config. I don't want to do that because I haven't told it what the LAN is. So set router ID. Okay, instantly that's not going to work because the version of firmware we're on, that's the older way of doing it. I think it was back in version 6, and now in version 7. Routing BGP. So we're now using templates, whereas before we would create an instance and a connection. So remote yes, local address, route reflector yes, yeah, that's not an option anymore. Output network again, and that's not an option anymore. Okay, so let's just be this is not correct for router OS version 7. So if it works out, I think you're right. Set route ID. Actually, it's still doing instance connection network. It's still wrong. It uses template and connection, not instance. See if it understands what I mean. Keeps telling me I'm right, but no, look, we're still doing instance. Now we're doing a template. And then connection. Yep. Okay, well, it's not getting what I mean. I'll show you what I mean, so you know I'm not going crazy. So here we have templates and connections. So here we would do set our information up about our device itself. So there's our router ID, there's our AS number, and then this is where we would do our filtering. So this is where I'd specify what I wanted to advertise out. Originally, there used to be a network section here, and you would put in the networks there that you wanted to basically advertise. Now we do it all based on filtering. I mean, we could just redistribute. Where's the redistribution option? Out redistribute, like connected. But I never like to do that because it's going to advertise these other routes, which that one it already knows about because it's got one of those connected. But yeah, I want to have a bit of control over what we're advertising out. Okay, well, we can put that down to a 0 out of 10. That failed completely. So with no BGP between our CHRs, maybe let's try the failover. Actually, let's do some queuing first. So if you don't know what queuing is used to rate limit your traffic. I've done several videos on queuing. Big fan of using it. Write me a config to create a queue tree using cake and match LAN traffic on 192.168. I'll set it to 0.9/24 and give me 10 meg down and 5 meg up. Right, let's see what it does with that. Well, it has remembered that I've been talking about router 7 version 7 for a while, so it's remembered that, because Cake wasn't available. You had to sideload it into a like a partition to run it, or you'd have to run it. Yeah, it wasn't basically as straightforward as it is right now. I hadn't like sorted that before I did that, but it's picked up on that. So queue type, so it's creating our using just the default because I didn't tell it to do anything else, calling it Cake queue. I'll show you what all these mean if you're not familiar. Create a parent, so we're just going to land down global. Okay, so it's not creating a parent, it's just going to be itself. Packet mark land down. It's going to create the upload 5 meg. Yep. Create the mangle rules for upload traffic, so it's using forward chain. Nope, that's wrong. It should be pre-routing. We're talking mangle rules now. Pre-routing on the source. Action packet mark new, packet mark LAN. Pass through no, good. LAN up. Okay, well that's almost there. If I just change that one thing and see if that works. So basically the mangle rules, they will manipulate your traffic, or not manipulate, sorry, they will mark traffic. They'll mark routing, they'll do all the connections, and then you use those marks in rules like queues or routing rules, which will then determine where that traffic goes or what happens to that traffic. So we change that to be, so that'd be a filter rule forward chain. Add chain pre-routing, and then for the download traffic would be post routing. I like that it marked the pass-through as no, because that means that once it's made a match, it won't apply any other rules to it, so we won't get everything applied to the bottom rule. So let's do that. So back on our app. Terminal. Okay, paste that in. Oh, queuing type, I didn't spot that. It's queue type. That's weird. Queue type. Oh, again, it's even not interface, is it? It's just queue. Random. Well, don't get me wrong, I'm impressed it's done any of this, to be honest. I'm happy it's not getting it perfect, if I'm honest, but I'm also, impressed that it does something. So I don't like any of this. So where have we gone wrong? Queue tree name, land down, parent global, kind, so that should be type. Queuing type. Okay, it's getting its knickers in a twist here. Not queuing type, we called it cake. So I will just, you think I'm just rambling nonsense. But a queue types here is where we cake. So it's created that queue. It's called it cake queue. And the kind here is cake. However, when we actually do it in our queue tree, we just specify the type here, queue type. Okay, so we'll cancel that. So let's try that again. So where did we get to? Queue tree, type, max limit. Okay, one line. Okay, let's try that again. See, what you could do, and what I think would be useful, if you did have what's happened there? Something you were trying, you wanted to work out, you didn't know how to do it, obviously after you checked out one of my videos, you could head here and go, right, give me a comment, how do I rate limit my traffic on a MikroTik? I want to give it 10 meg up, give it the parameters you want it. let it speak out a config, and then try this approach and see where it fails. And you'll then also learn, hopefully you'll learn some of the steps. So sorry, I'm still not liking that. So there is still a place for it, I think. Where am I? Q. Okay, so it's just Q. Max limit. I'm going to type in L now, aren't I? Interesting. Normally I do the mangle rules first, personally, but okay, so it's created me my download rule. Let's call it LAN down. My packet marks are LAN down. That's Q type there, and it's giving me my 10 meg. Okay, so now knowing where it's going to mess up, let's just fix that first. So that was just Q, cake, Q, max limit, packet mark. Oh, it's still doing that kind, isn't it? Get rid of that. Get rid of kind. There we go. Now we need to do our mangle rules. See if that's everything it needs. Ooh. Seem to be happy with that one. So IP, firewall, mangle, pre-routing, matching on that. Again, check out my queuing videos, but I would also, I didn't tell it to though, so I'm not saying it should have done, but just I like to, if I think of anything of interest on the way, if you haven't come across this before. Oh, there we go as well. I got that wrong. It's not pre-dash routing, it is pre-routing. Interesting. Let me add it to that chain. Let's just create a new one. Post routing. There we go. That's better. Yeah, sorry. I would use an address list, which is just done in here. So you would just call it LAN1, whatever you want to call it, and then put that in there, and then you could just select that for the source list, and then on the destination or on the download one, you do it for the destination list. It's just a little preference of mine. But yeah, there we go. There's our mangle rules, and we've got our, make sure we've got our packet marks. New packet mark. Up, down, up and down. Right, let's test it, shall we? Speed test. Yep, getting 10 meg. Let's take a look at our queue. Should be going red. There we are, it's going red. That's pretty good. And upload. There we go. Nearly 5 meg. 5 meg. Cool. Well, yeah, we had to help it along a bit, but yeah, I think that was pretty good. I think you'd get through it like that. You certainly know where you should be adding your config, and then you can then do some googling, or like I say, watch one of my highly entertaining videos, which would take you through the config. Okay, let's do one more, if you're still all with me. Last one, let's do a load balance. So this one's going to be pretty tricky. Configure. Oh, sorry. Write the config for PCC, which is per connection classifier. load balance for equal cost on two interfaces, Ether 1 and Ether, I think it's Ether 1 and Ether 2. It's the wrong one. Jump back on the other one. Interfaces Ether 1. I'm going to get rid of the WAN bit because it's probably going to match on that name. On internet is 3, so I want it across 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Don't need to give any more information. Load balance for equal cost across 2. See what it does with that. The configuration sets per connection classified, load balance on 2 WAN interfaces within 3 to distribute traffic evenly. Again, we're resetting our config, which we don't want to do. WAN address. Okay, so we've already got that. We're already getting D. Already getting a so we probably want to tell it what our our next hop is going to be. So that is destination gateway. Yeah, that's not going to work. So we're going to have to give it. Okay, use 10. Just refresh my memory of what networks on which IP addresses. So Ether 1 is 21.1 and that is 10.1. So 200.21.1 as the next hop gateway on Ether 1 and 10.101.10.1 on Ether 3. So WAN list WAN address. I'm not sure what that's doing. It's not address list, it's just address. That's strange. So again, we've already got that set. Mangle rules. So anything coming in from LAN bridge with no mark. Okay. Mark it with that. That's the route. So did we set the routing? I don't think we actually specified the new routing tables, did we? IP route. It's 2. Check gateway ping. Yeah, we should have created. So what it's going to do, or what it should be doing, is matching this new connection mark, and then it should be using that connection mark to create a new routing mark, which is called 2WAN1. But that should reflect against 2 additional routing tables. Where are the 2 FIB routing tables for each WAN interface, if it knows what I mean? You're absolutely right, thank you. There we go. So how this works is it's going to first it's going to match the connection, and it's going to basically match anything that's not going to mark and is coming from or going to the LAN, coming from the LAN, and it's going to apply these basically this it's like Is it like a reverse fraction? I don't know. So basically there's two streams, and then the first one starts on 0, not 1, annoyingly. And then basically if you wanted this split, say you had your one of your WANs was 2 times the size of the other one, you could have 3 streams, and then you make 2 of your same connection. So both for WAN 1 as 3-0 and 1, and then the third one would be 3-2. Again, I've done a video on this. It's worth checking that out if you're interested in doing this. There's quite a bit to it, but it does work. So I'm just not confident this is going to work. But hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's give it a go. Sorry, I'm going to copy that into the notepad. Ignore that first. I don't know why it keeps wanting me to reset the configuration, because that would just break everything. Okay, terminal. Let's create my new 2 routing tables. Okay, I was happy with that. I'll skip this one because I've already got the 2. They're already running DHCP. Let's create our Mango rule, see what this is going to do. Again, very skeptical. Seems to have done it. Where's my Mango rules? Where's Firewall? Sorry. Let's create 2 of them. Pre-routing. Should have created 4. Oh, it does not match value of the interface. Oh, LAN bridge, because I haven't got anything called LAN bridge, have I? It's just assumed that's what. Oh, because that was from from the very first one. You remember it? When it made my full config, that's what it called my LAN. So it's obviously remembered that. That's funny. Okay, let's just call it LAN bridge. Cool. And then what we'll do is we'll stick what I've called DMZ in there. And it's going to moan because it's part of will be an interface itself, and move that to LAN bridge. Okay, I also need to fix my DHCP server. LAN bridge. Okay. Still at least there. Okay. So let's try that again. We can just dump the whole line again. Or is it going to reroute? We're going to add the others. It might do. Let's just give it a go. So what's that done? Yeah, so it's just added those ones again. They're my first ones, aren't they? So get rid of those. Okay, so it's done. Anything coming from that doesn't have a mark, both addresses are basically most randomized versions. 2 streams. Anything that's not local traffic, yeah, it's pretty good. Mark connection with that mark, and then it will use that mark. So anything with that connection mark, so it marks the traffic with a connection, or marks the connection with a mark, and then that connection, it gets basically pointed to that routing table. That is I've obviously used this for my demo I did, because I've still got my other 2 routing tables in there. So these are just under routing and tables. So they're not separate VRFs, they're just separate routing tables. Tables. There we go. So there's my dynamic main one. These are the 2 I used for my demo I did, my video I did, and these are the ones it's just created. Okay, So, oh yeah, it's not too bad. Let's see what it does with the routing. Copy that. Nah, it doesn't like table because it's not a table, is it? That would be routing mark as well. Routing table. Double equals there. Okay, not too bad. Try that for the second one. IP routes. So I've got these two static routes in there. It's weird. Why has it done that? Did the first one not go in? Oh, I must have copied the second. Oh, I see. No, not I've done because I only fixed the first one. Let's copy that. If we just change that to routing. Good. The routing table. Okay, so I've got additional ones I don't need, so I can get rid of that one. So as well, I probably want to kill my dynamic one that I'm getting. We'll see. Okay. So then we want. Oh, it's doing this because for the failover. But I don't like doing. It's not. I don't like doing failover with this because this would work in my scenario because my up to links are two different networks I've got within a development network. So it could ping the gate. You know, I could kill one of those interfaces and it would instigate a failover. Basically, what this is going to do is has this. That's a bad example because it's dynamic one. Has this check gateway ping. So if it pings that, it can't ping that after. I think 3 maybe attempts. It will then make that route unavailable. But that's all well and good. But if you're, you know, your next hop could be a local IP address. Well, if you're say on a 4G connection, your ISP or provider is going to give you a local IP, and then it's going to NAT you with all its other clients further down the line. You don't know what's happening on that within their network. So you're pinging the next gateway, which is fine because it's your router to the NTU or whatever the modem is. That link could be fine, but then your internet connection, so the actual 4G network could go down, and then it wouldn't actually trigger the failover. So yeah, it's okay for a very low level failover option. We'll leave that out for now, but yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend it. And these just means that any traffic going out of your interface is going to get natted. At the moment, we're not doing any natting here. Boom. Okay. Well, let's kill that dynamic one there. So we go to IP DHCP client. Hopefully I shouldn't lose access because I think I'm actually natting upstream to this one. I do have it on the gateway there. Am I okay? Have I lost access? Nope. Okay, so let's this is H2. My Ubuntu server. 16.1.254 I think it's on. Can I get to it? I don't think I will I? I might have to get to it from here. Just for this purpose of this demo. thing I could do. I could just add it to because I'm currently routing to the internet out of here, but I know my upstream dev network will get to it, so yeah, don't pay too much attention to this bit. This is just me. Hence, well, this is live, and I would normally cut this sort of stuff out of my. We'll test this first when I make a live video, because I am not a professional. We want to go to 601. I'm going to go to see if that works. No, it's routing to the internet. Okay, no, I can't get to it from that network either. So let's just do it from this itself. I just really want to see if we get any traffic in those rules, really. SSH system. SSH 172.16.1.254. That's for the user, did I? User equals master. Should really have done this one. MikroTik had a Windows device on it, because I could have done some other. This Linux machine is just very basic setup for a device to basically ping. If I can remember the password as well. Come on, what was the password? It was, but I was just typing it wrong. Okay, so let's do some. That's not what we can do, I guess. Let's do a wget. Download something big, like itself. We can download the Ubuntu server. Then download. What? Go around in circles. There you go. I want that. Copy link address. Paste. See if that works. Is that actually downloading anything? Okay, so it doesn't seem to have any internet access. So I get to the gateway. So something's wrong with my routing. I don't think it's applying these rules correctly. So I was coming in from. Well, that's right. Anything with no marks coming from that. Feels like something missing. Something glaringly obvious that I'm not spotting. Does this even have internet anymore? What's the logs? Not the terminal. No, it does. Yeah, it's screwed at the routing table for some reason. Well, I'm fairly confident that it's not correct, but I'm also not as I'm shocked that it's done a fairly good job. Let's just, shall I bring up my as I mentioned, I've done a video on this as well. Everything I've done or attempted to do with this, I've done videos on before. So we get some cake. Here we go. Here's the PCC load balancing. I was doing different speeds. I kind of explain what the different splitting that up is for. There's the video. Yeah, that was my setup. Basically, fairly simple. To correct my routing tables. Yeah, there's my routes. Gateway failover, yeah. So it didn't do the return traffic one, did it? State new. Connection state new. Oh, okay, yeah. So it needs to match on the connection state as well. Basically, yeah, for mine, I had all these ones. And I only had 2 interfaces, and the reason I had 3 here was because I had the extra. I was doing it, and again, I realised I should have had 4 there for the proper division. But yeah, I need to match on the output. Yeah, so there's quite a bit missing there. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah, not bad. I think you got most of it, but yeah, again, I'd say, well, I'll probably say 7, 8 out of 10. Okay, well, I'll probably leave it there. I think that's enough. Yeah, it's quite an interesting exercise. There wasn't anything that really grabbed me as being, spot on. I think they did the actual initial config of the HAP, just couldn't do the Wi-Fi. It missed a few bits out, but again, we could have given a bit more information. BGP was a complete write-off, mainly because I was trying to do IBGP. Oh no, even that, no, it wasn't, was it? Because it was doing the old way of doing it. And then what did we do after that? Oh yeah, the queuing was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. There's got a few things muddled, but I reckon someone had never done that before could probably piece a lot of that together if you've got experience of MikroTik. And then the PCC stuff, it was just, again, I could spend another hour just trying to work all this out, but I think that might just bore people too much. So if you did want to see that, I'm happy to do that sort of thing. I have done a video where I had a network that I set up, and then someone broke it for me in certain places, and I had to work it out. So that was quite interesting to do. So maybe I'll do something like that again, where we'll give it a more complex task to do, and I'll go through every bit of it and work out where it's going wrong. But yeah, if you tried using ChatGPT before to make your configs and stuff that hasn't worked out or has worked out, let me know. But yeah, well, thanks for watching. Check out the website. Again, you can comment on any of this stuff here, request content up here. Check out, I've got some merch if you're interested. Yeah, but if not, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.